Everyone. Today we will discuss about the role of placenta and about the gestation period. In the previous lesson, we have already discussed about embryo development. In the embryonic development, I told you about blastulation, blastula formation, that is after a week time after fertilization, the blastocyst is formed, and that blastocyst, which is formed inside the fallopian tube, now where it comes inside the mother's uterus, and the blastocyst is now embedded with the endometrial wall of the uterus. Means the process of implantation takes place. As I told you, implantation is the process of the attachment of blastocyst to the wall of uterus. As you know, in the blastula stage, the outer layer is trophoblast, and that trophoblast helps to form chorionic villi. That chorionic villi, when it comes and attached to the wall of uterus, the chorionic villi is interdigitated with the placental, with the uterine tissues, the wall of uterine tissues. And these chorionic villi, along with the uterine tissues, both are combined together to form placenta. So the trophoblast of the blastocyst helps in the formation of placenta. And what is placenta? Placenta is a disc-like structure which is formed inside the mother's uterus, and the placenta performs so many functions. The first one, placenta supplies all the nutrients to the fetus. You can see here, this is the placenta, this is the placental villi. The placenta gives nutrients to the fetus. This one is the fetus. This whole structure is the uterus. You can see here, in the uterus there is the fetus, and fetus is getting food and other materials from the placenta. The placenta is well connected with the embryo, with the fetus, through a cord, and this structure is called umbilical cord. The umbilical cord contains blood vessels, and these blood vessels supply the materials from placenta to the fetus and vice versa. The placenta performs so many functions. The first one, as I told you, placenta supply nutrients to the fetus through the umbilical cord. Placenta also gives, or you can say provides, oxygen to the fetus. Placenta collects all the waste materials which are generated by the fetus, because the fetus is inside the mother's uterus. It is not outside. So whatsoever the waste materials are generated, these waste materials are collected by the placenta through the umbilical cord, and finally all these waste materials are removed through the excretory system of the mother's body. Placenta, not only it provides the nutrients, oxygen, but placenta also act as the endocrine tissues. Sometimes there will be the question that justify why placenta is called an endocrine tissue. Because placenta produces so many hormones also, and these hormones are You can see your book HCG. There is a hormone that is called HCG, HPL. Then estrogen, progesterone, HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. HPL stands for human placental lactogen. Estrogen and progesterone, these two hormones are also secreted by the placenta. These hormones are also secreted from the ovary also. So placenta also produces so many hormones, and these hormones already I have mentioned over here: HCG, HPL, estrogen, progesterone. Apart from these hormones, placenta also produces some of the other hormones like thyroxine, cortisol, prolactin. All these hormones, they are useful for the proper growth of the fetus inside the mother's uterus. These hormones are also responsible to increase the metabolic activities inside the female body, so it can properly look after the young ones inside the uterus. So overall, all these hormones are very, very important, which are secreted by the placenta. And that's why placenta is said to be what? Endocrine tissues. Especially I am telling you here, human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. This hormone, the function is not yet given in your textbook, but this HCG hormone is very, very important to maintain corpus luteum inside the ovary, which produces progesterone hormone. As you know, progesterone is a pregnancy hormone. It helps to look after the gestation period. So HCG maintains corpus luteum throughout the pregnancy time, which is very, very important. HPL hormone is especially HPL, human placental lactogen. It helps in the proper secretion of the milk. Prolactin also, it helps in the proper secretion of the milk, production of the milk. But overall, all these hormones, by the end of gestation period, one more hormone is secreted from the ovary, and that is relaxin. So because of the secretion of hormones by the placenta is also known as endocrine tissues. So how many functions are there of the placenta? So many functions. You have to make a list. It supplies nutrients to the fetus. It also supplies oxygen to the fetus. Placenta collects all the waste materials which are generated by the fetus, and placenta also act as the endocrine tissues which produces so many hormones like HCG, HPL, estrogen, progesterone, etc. Now you tell me the hormones which are secreted during the pregnancy time only. This is a very important question. Name the hormones which are secreted by the human female during the pregnancy time only. And these hormones are HCG, HPL and relaxin. 3 hormones are there. Please note down anywhere. And these hormones are HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, HPL, human placental lactogen, and the third one is the relaxin. These 3 hormones are secreted only during the pregnancy time. other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, they may be secreted. Even the female is not pregnant. In the menstrual cycle, these hormones are secreted. So, these headings you have to learn. These questions also simultaneously you have to do. Now, after the function of the placenta, now there is gastrulation. During the embryonic development, as I taught you, when the zygote undergoes into the process of cleavage, first it forms morula. Morula stage comes, in which the number of cells are limited. The cells ranges from 8 to 16 cell stage of the early embryo. It is called morula stage. The morula stage is followed by blastula stage, in which the number of blastomeres or the cells are nearly 64 up to 100 of the cells are present. And when the blastula it comes or it is implanted to the wall of uterus, then again the third stage starts, and this is called gastrulation or the formation of gastrula. The blastocyst, after implantation inside the uterus, it further divides mitotically and it forms 3 germs layer. Now the embryo having 3 germs layer, these are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So embryo up to these 3 germs layer, this embryo is called gastrula. The gastrula is the stage of an embryo in which all the 3 germs layer are formed, and these germs layer are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. And whatsoever the organ systems or the body parts are formed inside the fetus, all these body parts are produced by these 3 germ layers. Our all body parts, either they are ectodermal in origin or mesodermal in origin or maybe endodermal in origin. In the gastrula stage, all these 3 germ layers may have some of the stem cells. They have tendency to differentiate and they can produce the different body parts. So 3 stages are there. Morula stage, which is followed by the blastula stage. After implantation, the third stage of the embryo comes, that is called gastrula stage. Gastrula is the stage of an embryo in which all the 3 germ layers are formed, and these 3 germ layers, they are differentiated later on to form different body parts, different body organs of our body. As all the 3 germs layer have some of the stem cells and they have tendency to produce the different body organs, different body parts. And this whole stage is called gastrulation, in which the gastrula stage comes. Now, as you know, gestation period. Gestation is the period which is required for the complete development of the fetus inside the mother's uterus. The total time which is required for the complete development of the fetus inside the mother's uterus, this is 80 days. So gestation period is 280 days, that is 9 months and 10 days. During the gestation period, the embryo further develops into the fetus. so many body parts, the organs, the heart and other body parts, they are produced. So let us say in which month, which body organs they are formed. In 1 month fetus, the heart is formed. When a fetus is about 1 month old, in 1 month, the heart is formed just within a month. Out of 9 months, in the first month, by the completion of 1 month, the heart is formed, and that heartbeat is measured at that time. You can measure with the help of stethoscope. The heartbeat can be heard. Now, in the second month, the limbs, in the second month of the pregnancy, the limbs and digits, they are formed. By the end of 12 weeks, in the first trimester, you can say, the major organ system and genital organs are formed. Means in the first in the 3 month, in the first trimester, you can say, after completion of the first trimester, in the 3rd month of the pregnancy, the major organ systems, so many organ systems, digestive, respiratory, these systems, they are formed, and even the genital organs, the reproductive organs, they are also formed in the 3rd month, or you can say by the end of the 12 weeks. Now, the first movement of the fetus and appearance of hair is observed in the 5th month. The first movement, the fetus starts moving, the movement of the fetus may be observed in the 5th month of the pregnancy, and even in the 5th month, so body hairs, they are also formed. By the end of 24 weeks, that is in the 2nd trimester, the body is covered with hairs and eyelids get separated and eyelashes are formed. The eyelids, both the eyelids, initially both they are attached, they are not open. But both the eyelids, they open by the end of 24 weeks, or you can say 6 months, 2nd trimester, by the end of the 6th month. So many hairs in all the body parts, they are produced, and eyelashes, the eyelashes are also formed. And as you know, by the end of 9 months, the fetus is fully developed. And then this process of the embryonic changes, or when the fetus is fully matured, it leads to the process of what? Childbirth. Then the process of parturition starts. So now we will discuss about the next heading, that is parturition, that how the process of childbirth takes place, what changes occur inside the mother's uterus so it can deliver a baby, exterior or outside, through the uterus, through the cervix, through the vagina, exterior. So now the next heading is parturition. This is parturition. In parturition, you have to study about a term, that is fetal ejection reflex. It's very important term. What is fetal ejection reflex? What is parturition? First of all, let me to define what is parturition. Parturition is the process of the expulsion of the fetus outside to the female body, or you can say parturition is the process of, in a very simple way, is the process of childbirth. The process of childbirth, or you can say the delivery of the young ones, scientifically it is known as parturition. What changes occur? Which hormone is required during the process of parturition? Let me to explain. Actually, when the fetus is fully matured after the gestation period, the fully matured embryo, or you can say the fully matured fetus and placenta, both they originates a signal, and that signal starts a mild contraction in the uterus, and therefore fetus, due to the contraction of the uterus, the fetus gradually it comes towards the cervix. Again, the mild contraction of the uterus, or you can say when the fetus is fully matured, a signal also goes to the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland, the posterior part of the pituitary gland produces a hormone that is called oxytocin. And that oxytocin hormone is responsible for the contraction of the uterus. Initially the contraction is very mild, but gradually at the time of the expulsion of the fetus, the contraction, it becomes very fast. Too much contraction takes place, and because of the contraction, when the wall of uterus contract, the fetus comes outside, and finally the process of childbirth takes place. One more hormone is secreted by the end of gestation period at the time of parturition, that is called relaxin. The relaxin hormone is secreted from the ovary. The relaxin hormone widens, or it helps to widen the wall of uterus. It widens the cervix also, the vagina also. It also widens the pelvic girdle of the female, and it helps in the expulsion of the fetus outside to the body. So these two hormones are very, very important, and these hormones are oxytocin and relaxin. Oxytocin hormone is secreted from the posterior part of the pituitary gland, and relaxin is secreted from the ovary. Oxytocin is responsible for the contraction of the uterus, and relaxin widens the wall of uterus, cervix, vagina, and that's why the process of childbirth takes place. Why it is said to be the fetal ejection reflex? Because the secretion, actually oxytocin is a neurohormone. Oxytocin is secreted only when a nerve, a impulse goes to the pituitary gland. When the fetus, as I told you, it becomes fully matured, the fetus as well as placenta, both they send a signal, a message to the pituitary gland, and then the pituitary, the posterior part of the pituitary, secretes oxytocin hormone, which brings a very rapid muscular contraction, and then the process of childbirth takes place. Sometimes at the time of the childbirth, during the process of the delivery of the child, if the proper oxytocin hormone is not secreted, then the doctor sometimes inject the oxytocin from outside, so it brings a very strong muscular contraction of the uterus and fetus comes outside and the process of childbirth takes place. So because of the signal goes to the pituitary gland, it is called fetal ejection reflex. It is a kind of reflex action. When the message goes to the pituitary, then the hormone is secreted, then the fetus is going to be expelled. So this whole process is called fetal ejection reflex. Now, after the partition, the next heading, the last heading of this chapter is lactation. And you know, to nourish the young ones, to newborn baby, the mother's mammary gland produces milk, and this process of the production of milk to nourish the young ones, this process is called lactation. During the process of pregnancy, the mammary gland starts producing the milk, and after the childbirth, the milk is ejected from the mammary gland in the presence of oxytocin. Here oxytocin hormone is also responsible for the ejection of milk. The milk is produced in class 11th. I have already taught you that there is a hormone that is called prolactin hormone. The prolactin hormone is secreted even by the placenta also. Prolactin hormone is secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary also. And prolactin hormone is responsible for the production of milk during the especially pregnancy period. But the secretion of the milk, the ejection of milk takes place in the presence of oxytocin. So after the parturition, or you can say after the birth of the young ones, the mother's breast, the mammary gland starts producing the milk for the proper nourishment of the young ones, and this process is called lactation period. The lactation period after the partition, generally 6 month, 5 to 6 month lactation takes place, and up to the 6 month, generally the mothers nourishes their young ones through their milk. And the early lactation, the early secretion of the milk, or the milk is called colostrum. The initial lactation period, or the milk which are produced in the early stage of the lactation after the childbirth, a week time, that milk is called colostrum. And it is very, very important that the early milk, the initial stage of the lactation, the milk is called colostrum, and colostrum is very, very important to make the young ones, to make the baby, their immune system is strong throughout their lifetime, as colostrum contains antibodies, and that antibodies is helpful to provide immunity to the young ones. So if the young one is getting the early milk which are produced by the female, it provides the passive immunity, or you can say the long last immunity to the child. That's why this colostrum, the early milk, is very, very useful for the newborn baby regarding to boost, to provide immunity for the long life. So that's all for today. Tomorrow I will start the next chapter. Thanks to everyone.